Zeofate plays Hard Space Shipbreaker. And welcome everybody to another episode of Hard Ship Shipbreaker, where today, let's go see what we're gonna do. I can either, right now I only have real access to the last ship you did, if there's anything, regardless of whether there's anything to salvage left on it, is always going to be the top where it says current ship. Down here, you can start seeing where the hazards are. You can take a look and see how much MP you're going to get and LTs. And just go through and figure out what ship you want to do. So that's 5.3. That's 5.1. That's 5.3. Okay. That one's going to give me 2. That one's going to give me 2. So really, for 2 of these ships, there's no real difference. So, might as well go for this heavy cargo. Now, you can claim a ship at any time. You just go back to your hab, stop whatever you're doing, go back to the hab, end the shift. You can then claim the shift, and whatever you haven't salvaged will get disappeared when you selected a new ship. Or you can just simply go and select on your current ship to continue salvaging that ship. Keep in mind fees and value. If there's not enough money there to pay the fees for the day, don't bother. Okay. This right here...
Hold up a second there, Cutter. Because you've increased your rank, we're going to give you the next greatest ship. Now this one will be full of machinery, electronics, furniture, all stuff that Lynx can collect and resell. You're going to want to throw those items on the barge. That's, the big green thing below you. Go ahead, have a look.
And that right there is the barge.
Valuable objects or components down there. Don't worry about breaking anything. There's a dampening field that'll catch everything. Works great. Most of the time. Let's give it a go.
The barge is different than the processor and furnace for a couple of different ways. First of all, though anything that goes on the barge, you can't actually damage and reduce its value just by knocking it into things, getting electrocuted, whatever, or blowing it up. As soon as it passes that field on the top of the barge, you get credited for it. And if it gets blown up after that, yeah, it's not your problem. You don't get, you've already got paid. One of the interesting things about the barge is if you shove something that's supposed to go into the processor or the furnace into the barge, it's going to light up red. You can go into the barge and recover it.
Usually.
And then put it, usually. And then put it where it needs to go. There's some
items you can't.
Yeah, there's also some bits and pieces that there's really no point in trying to recover.
Yeah.
It's just not worth the effort. But really, it's up to you. Okay, so let's get to start to salvage. So let's see here. First things first is let's start. I personally will. Oh, hello. Yeah, that right there. If I pull the trigger right now, that's blowing up. Simple, straight out right.
Fuel tanks. Gotta love them.
No, I don't. If you knock these things around too quickly and too heavily and with too much force, they'll blow up. Anything that blows up will damage stuff all around it.
Funny how that works.
At that point in time, when it beeps, and we get the salvage, that's the only time that shit's safe. Till then, treat it like a live bomb, because it basically is. And some of the things with that is, even the sparks from your gun, your cutting tool, can set those off. So try to pay attention where your sparks are going. If you can, try to make it so that the sparks are not going anywhere near anything explosive. If you can't, well, you're screwed and things are going to blow up.
Credits awarded.
Rule 1, don't die. Rule 2, you're gonna screw up Rule 1. I personally, as I was saying, I generally go around the ship and I'll start taking apart everything that's external. Because later ships, you'll start dealing with pressurization, you'll start dealing with active fuel systems, yada yada yada. So I generally try to strip off as much stuff so that, well, if it goes boom, I don't lose as much as I can.
Object accepted for processing. Credits deposited.
Okay, so that's pretty much done.
There are some panels like this that can just pop off like that. They're rare. Usually I would turn around and try to detach what they're attached to and get them all at once, but
Object processed.
I really don't have the equipment to fully work it properly. So I can leave this here because it's it's processor for the titanium structure and it's processor for the outer hull. Okay, so do I have anything down here that's worth grabbing? No. Let's grab these panels.
Valuable object processed. Credits awarded.
It's amazing how quickly some of this stuff can add up. Then there's some stuff that you're looking at it going like, so small, and then it's like, oh yeah, but it's worth X amount of millions of dollars. What? Like, console. This thing. Not exactly that big, not exactly that damaging or anything else like this. It's worth 85,000, just about worth $85,000. Into the barge you go.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Then you'll encounter some stuff like this. You'll find asteroid shards, all sorts of stuff that is really useful. Like here's some of the suit patch kits. When you pick up stuff like that, it goes into your inventory. Have you ever encountered a multi-tool on one of these ships?
Yep.
No, I actually am honestly going to say that's probably a first for me.
I think I've only encountered one before, but yes, I have.
No, I'm going to have to say that that's a first. Okay. Like this here. Anything that's kind of surrounded yellow means that it can be cut, but if you're really paying attention to here, those glowing lights on that pipe junction means that it's getting fuel. And if it's getting fuel, it'll blow up if you cut it. So, whenever you have the opportunity, make sure this stuff gets disconnected. Save you headaches in the long run. Some of these ships can actually be connected in some odd ways.
Mm-hmm. Not wrong
So
about that.
Keep that in mind, that if something's not moving and it looks like it should be moving, it might be connected by something like this. Doesn't look like it should connect it, but because it's actually connected to that, it is connected. That's all processor, that's all processor, that's all processor. Okay. Now, because it's still in the red, I can't really go and manipulate this back piece here, so I've got to cut other stuff to lighten it up a little bit.
That's done.
Yeah, you're still showing as too heavy. That stuff actually might be a problem. No, I can't disconnect you. There we go. Yep. Like I thought, those two parts were in fact causing the issue. So let's get into here. Get that moving. Anything that's processor, if you can leave it all attached, especially later on when you start getting the capability of moving a lot of mass, just leave it attached. Like, I could take that bottom thruster off, or I could leave it. It really is not going to affect me either way. If I leave it, I get a little bit of extra value from the material that's used to attach it, but not a whole lot.
For processing.
So, sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not. It's mostly just the simple fact that it's one less thing that I have to try to manipulate. One trick with cut points is if it's going to cost you a lot of temp, you're just having so much problem trying to cut it or disintegrate it like I was doing. Switch to the cutter like this, and one trigger pull separates it. No hesitation whatsoever. So rather than constantly trying to burn out your cutter, you just pop up and do that. Downside is you got to be paying attention, otherwise you could very, very, very easily cut stuff you don't want to that way. So these nacelles are going to go to the barge, net me 206,000 each. See that little square that showed up, and you see those other little squares? That's basically the health of the item.
Salvage secured. Applying credit.
If you bang stuff around too much, that's going to drop. Every time that drops, well, now it's not worth as much money.
Doesn't it affect the price as far as I've been able to tell?
It does. It's not a lot, but it does.
Got that pretty quickly.
I've had items that go from
Let me teach you
max
about
health
the
to
kiosk. Once the training wheels come off,
1 square and be the
limits
exact same
regulations
price.
mean you gotta cover your own oxygen and fuel costs. That's the way things go. Turning it on now. Now, no need to panic. They'll last you a good while. But if you end up running out, you gotta top up at the kiosk over there. Let's have a look.
Keep in mind what I said about collisions. So, like, I just about smacked into the ship with the part that I'm working with. You generally don't want to do that. You are going into the processor, not the furnace. Every now and then, items will bounce out of when you send it into the furnace or processor.
Credits awarded.
Excuse me.
It's rare, but it can happen. It depends on what kind of speed you got going.
Rewards allocated.
And the angle you hit things at?
Yeah. So it's, pay attention. Okay, so... Right, you wanted to go to us to go to the store. I'm so used to having
cigarettes?
No. I'm so used to having so much more range on this stuff. Save your fuel, use the grappler.
Welcome to Vendatron 9000.
And here we are. Right here is where all the different repair kits and everything else like this you can purchase. These are really useful. The biggest useful thing you're going to have is right there. That's where a large of your thruster fuel and tethers are going to be, by far, your biggest expense. The constant repeat expense. Everything else is going to depend on how you handle everything.
Heaven, good stuff, Cutter. Pretty easy, right? All right, I'll leave you to it. We'll chat again when you've hit the next rank. Weaver out.
Okay, processor. That's going to the barge, which means I need to get some cutting inside to get that freed. This section here will end up going to the barge. I just need to get into the outer hall to pull that stuff off. Okay, so here we are. Which you're not. I'll have to think about that then. Let's actually start getting some of this stuff sorted. Big ass hole in the rear end of this thing. Let's start pulling out a bunch of this stuff. The old space rock going. Don't want these things to blow up on me. I already missed the tethers. So much.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Deposited. Applying credit to account.
Others are a godsend.
Yes, they are. There we go. Now you might be asking, why am I not just cutting apart the ship and chucking in the processor? Well, it's because attached to all the hull panels and everything else like this are things like this. Light. Realistically, is it worth the effort? It's up to you, really. But that's a $3,500 light.
Salvage accepted. Credit applied.
Kind of crazy that a light like that is worth $3,500.
Well, it is in space, and it is expensive to get shit up here. And this is another kind of light. It's also worth the same.
I hate those lights.
Yeah, these things, these specific little pod lights are probably going to be the ones you're going to end up destroying the most. Because you just won't notice them.
They're easily missed.
Oh, yeah.
And they're fucking tedious to pull
One
off.
of the ways you can do so is, in later ships, that you can make sure you get them all, is leave something that is creating power attached to the ship until you rip them all off. Because they'll glow red, so they'll stand out. So it makes it a bit easier to
Salvage deposit
find.
secured. Credits awarded.
I need fuel. And tethers.
Yeah, that right there was kind of dangerous, because if this thing hit me with enough force, I would have punctured my suit and
Excuse me.
already had to have backup.
I've had that happen too.
Oh yeah.
Raw material.
Like I've said, you
Credit
will
deposit.
die. There's no avoiding it. There's no nothing. You will eventually screw something up and you will die. Get used to it. It's just a matter of how much time and effort you want to go through. Like, I don't have to pick up those little bottles and stuff. They're only worth like $100 each. It's not worth the effort, but I usually do it just to clear them out, so I'm not accidentally setting something like them on fire, which generally a pain in the ass. Okay, so okay, airlocks like this one. There is 6 cut points that you need to pay attention to for these things. First 4 are in just the corners. The last 2 connect the actual airlock itself to the adjoining panel. You need to pop them. And, yeah, watch out for stuff like this, where they tuck, like, crates and stuff like this right by cut points. Because, well, they catch
That shit
fire.
lights on fire.
That's why you're right, I haven't caught one of those cut points. Or 2 of them, actually. Nope, just the one. Good. Make sure you go into the right side. I think that one still had the control panel on the
Processing
exterior.
valuable object. Credits
Nope.
awarded.
It didn't. Okay. Now, there is a control panel. There could be lights or anything else like this in here. But since it all goes into the barge, just pull the entire thing out. fire it down into the barge, and it'll count each individual item separately.
Salvage deposit registered. Account credited.
There we go. Makes things a little bit easier.
I think it took me a while before I realized that. I didn't have to pull the console from that section.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Luckily, the soft crates don't hurt you if you run into them, but they can still impart momentum to you and chuck you into the furnace. So, yeah, just keep that in mind.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
I miss having a longer range stinger. Yeah, this game likes hiding bits and pieces of things all over the place. Including stuff that'll blow up if you're not paying attention, so... Like I said, pay attention. Collisions are a thing, so if I'd shot that and it had hit that light, it would have sent the light flying somewhere random, and that's how you lose stuff, so... Generally, pull that stuff off, barge it, and then deal with the bigger chunk.
Salvage deposited. Applying credit to account.
And pay attention to the outer body panels, because at times some of those things, rather than going in the processor, they'll go into the furnace or the barge. And if you chuck it in the wrong thing, that's where you lose value.
Valuable object processed. Credits deposited.
All this is furnace all along here, except for this panel. It's processor. Be kind of wary of stuff going behind you. Things can go wrong that way. I've had one item that got behind me on the grapple. It decided it wanted to hook along my back, and because I was trying to pull it in, I got some wicked acceleration off that. Which was all good, well and good. Till I went into the furnace.
I didn't mean to grab the table. There, you can go in there.
As you go along, you'll start getting better and better heat capacity. So you'll be able to cut for longer without any real issues.
And faster cooldown.
Yeah, and faster cooldown. Watch out for those hard crates. Like that one. Because you get smoked by one of those going at even a partial speed, and oh, you're gonna feel it.
Yeah, no kidding. Almost got 8 of my 9 salvage goals done. Oh.
These parts are cleared. Come on. Come on. Yeah.
Object accepted for processing. Credits deposited.
There we go. Now, the reason why I'm not doing that is because I've got a little bit of barge stuff that I gotta grab off this.
Salvage goal achieved.
Go,
Reward
another salvage goal. Generally speaking, once you get the whatever the highest salvage goal is for the particular ship you're working on, you might as well just chuck it and just stop salvaging the ship if you're doing
Credited.
specific shifts for it. The way I'm playing right here, I don't really need to worry about a specific shift, so I can maximize my accumulation of wealth. But you will eventually lose access to these lower tier ships, whereas they won't even give you the option of them. Usually you have an option of 2 hazard levels from where you're at.
Salvage deposit confirmed. Applying credit.
So, like, if you have access to hazard level 9, you might see a level 7, but most frequently you're probably going to be seeing level 8s and level 9s.
I see level 5s.
Really?
Yep.
I haven't. All the ones I've always seen have always been within 2 levels. Must be very rare.
No, I have seen level 5s. I still get the option of doing that, and I'm working on a level 9 right now.
But then again, why would we really work on like a level?
Object processed.
Yeah,
2?
Transferring
that's the difference. Is I have access to it, I don't work on them.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Excuse me.
Go on. Stupid thing is one of these stupid lights can be the difference between a 4-star and a 5-star. I know they're diamonds, but I just call them star because it's easiest for all of us to understand.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Gets the point across.
Yeah, I mean, technically they're squares, just on their side.
Salvage deposit registered. Account credited. Salvage accepted. Credit applied.
This is usually why I'll take out the
That did actually
exterior
get
panels. It makes collecting a lot of this stuff
Salvage
really,
registered.
really easy.
Transferring credits.
Okay, this section is done. I happen to know that I can detach it. No, that's not what I wanted to do.
Thank you.
Right, I forgot those type patches
Material
had the
deposit.
exterior detach. I usually try to stay back as far from the cut as I can, unless I really need to be paranoid about angles, simply because, well, the cut's the biggest location where something's probably going to explode. By staying away from the cut, you stay away from the explosion,
Paranoid
and
much?
you don't get blown up. Can
Salvage
you blame me in the
deposited.
slightest?
Applying credit to account.
I have a hungry furnace to deal with, and shit likes blowing up on me.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
And you notice that Talon has yet to say that he actually does blame me for being paranoid. Do you know why he doesn't say
You have
anything?
nothing to be paranoid about. Jeez.
I don't know, the processor's looking at you funny.
Shush.
It's because there's especially in some of the higher grade ships, there's enough hazards that you really need to pay attention. Or you can get yourself into a lot of debt very quickly.
Yep.
At the end of the storyline, so to speak, once everything's all said and done, you're debt free. There will actually be statistics such as how many times you died, how
looking
much
forward to
you've
seeing
fully
that.
salvaged, and everything else like this. So keep in mind, you can get some interesting statistics.
Yeah, I bet.
I want to see how many times I legitimately die, so like I'm not doing the furnace thing, because I intentionally ensured I went into the furnace on a few occasions,
Object accepted for processing.
just to
Yeah.
ensure that I got that furnace god thing.
Yep. But you don't need to know that you have the achievement, so.
Yep. Okay. Now let's get down here. So miss
Valuable
the
object
charge
accepted
pulse.
for processing.
They get stuff like panels like this moving really fast.
Yep.
All salvage goals have been met. Rewards maximized.
See, now that stuff isn't connected anymore, it's starting to really fall apart.
Valuable object processed. Credits deposited.
There we go. Okay, now, I'm not actually going to send this into the furnace just yet. The reason why I'm not is because there's still a couple of different lights and one of the control panels. Give me that. Even though stuff is being detached from whatever it is you're working on, it's actually exerting some force, so... Just it being in the art of detaching something can be changing the positioning of things. Not a big deal when you're doing something small and light like this, but when you get to large cargo containers, it has a little bit of an effect.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Okay, and... oh, that's another light. Must have been off one of the pieces and I just forgot about it.
Salvage
Okay,
secured.
that looks to be about
Applying
it.
credit.
Oh, there's another light. See what I mean about what me and Talon both mean? About these being hard to spot at times? Because I just about missed that one. Okay, so I got nothing else on here. It is too heavy for me to be able to move. And once again, it's not going to allow me to just turn around and separate it. Okay, there we go.
Raw material processed. Credits deposited.
That here should be the last little bit. Okay, you got grabbed.
Deposit
Yep.
accepted.
So now it's time to head back to the hab. When this ship... Like the doors. The doors are worth about 1,000 credits. I could cut stuff open to get those out. I've done it before. Value on the items that you need to cut to get the doors out? 15,000. Or 1,500, sorry. So is it worth destroying 1,500 worth of items to get out a $1,000 worth of item? No. So don't bother with them. So, there we go. So we had 0 remaining. We had it only destroyed 1.8% of the ship for a total of 94,000. But that's structural members and like the glass because it's just not worth the effort. Okay, we destroyed 28 kilograms glass, like I said. 51 kilograms of structured aluminum and a door. That's it. Everything else got harvested. We got a whopping 5.262 million. And our...
New certification
There we
level
go.
awarded.
Our rank now
License
went up.
upgraded.
And right now we have 81 links tokens built up. And we got 2 additional repair kits. Generally for a ship of decent size, you're probably going to be going through... early on, you're probably going to be going through about 4 repair kits per ship. Later on, you'll be going through, like, 2 repair kits per ship. Just depends
I
on
repair
when
my
you...
shit after every ship. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, or, like I was just going to say, it depends entirely on when you decide to repair.
Hello, Shipbreaker. Please enjoy this inspirational message. The last 10% of a job takes as much energy as the first 90%, which is why it's so important to always give 110%.
That math doesn't check out. Okay. Well, we now got the Mackerel Exolabs. We've been dealing with the Mackerel class this entire time for all the episodes that we've done so far. And what it's describing is that center hull configuration. All the extra little bits and finicky bits on the outside, that's variable you can find all sorts of variations on that. So it's pay more attention to the mackerel versus it's an exolab. But we got a new ship variant and a new hazard, electricity. Shocking, I know. Okay, so and that right there is really, when it comes down to it, when you get high enough level, everything from cutting tool down, so over half of that daily fees, you can get rid of. Because you'll just straight outright purchase the equipment. Which will admittedly make it a lot easier for you to start making some money.
Makes a real big difference.
Links! Safety third. Okay, nothing else
Hey,
there.
Carter, I'm looking at the stats coming from your bay, and it's looking like you're really going to make your way around here. It's time to learn about how to upgrade your equipment. And some of the more advanced
I
tools
think I'm pretty much at the point where I can just try and salvage the shell.
room, and we'll see about upgrading your tools.
I'm gonna do a check over.
Okay, so
Oh
no
yeah, I gotta
mail.
do that.
We'll now go to the workstation. And
I'm going to read this straight from the manual. Lynx rewards hard work and learning by giving shipbreakers access to tool improvements and new equipment. Reaching salvage goals is essential for becoming a master shipbreaker. Basically, they want to make sure you prove yourself first, before giving you the big guns. Completing salvage goals will net you shiny Lynx tokens. Use those tokens here to get yourself some new gear. So let's get going and learn about one of the most important tools in a shipbreaker's toolbox, tethers. Go ahead and purchase them.
okay, I love how they tell you to get tethers, but they don't tell you where. But to answer your question where you get tethers, it's in the utility grapple. And it's right there. Unlock tethers.
Yeah, you had to tell me you wasn't
after
finding
me,
that
Cutter.
too. So, what the
Tethers
fuck?
are your friends. Now, have a quick read, and let's hop back in the bay.
Now, right now, you're just building up Lynx tokens. You've got no real option of being able to do anything with them. But once you start getting about 7, 8, you start unlocking a lot of stuff. But all these things unlock at various different levels, and they all have their own advantages and disadvantages. So, with that, let's go take a look at stickers. When you come in here, this is where you're going to get the stickers, and you can go through and you'll find there are shiny stickers. You got to collect a certain number of these. of the lower tier to get the higher one. Once you do that, you can go through and place a sticker wherever you want. I personally don't bother,
Neither do I.
because it's, to me, they're cosmetic. I'm never seeing them enough to worry about it, even though they do come up on the model in the world. But I just don't care enough.
Yep, I agree.
So with that, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed today's episode where we took apart that next mackerel and started getting the barge. And we'll see you all next time. Have a good one.